joining us now to talk about it is toxicologist Dr. Stephanie Widmer. Dr. Widmer, thanks for being here. The Utah legislation doesn't mention those concerns, but they do center on the cognitive impacts for kids exposed to fluoride. What have studies shown regarding potential health links between fluoride and kids and everyone?
So we know that fluoride is good for our teeth. The CDC has conducted high-quality research that tells us fluoride is really great for our dental health, dental hygiene. It strengthens enamel, it remineralizes our teeth, prevents decay, it combats cavities, it fights bacterial growth. We know fluoride is good for our teeth. Now, there was a study that was performed, it was released in January, and this study raised some concerns about the possibility of very high fluoride levels and a link to lower IQ levels. I want to be clear that this study did not in any way prove that high levels of fluoride cause lower IQ levels. In fact, it was considered inconclusive in that sense. The study was conducted outside of the United States. It was performed in areas where there are very, very high levels of fluoride in the drinking water.
Much higher than in drinking water.
Much higher than anything that we encounter here in the United States in our drinking water. So even when considering these very high levels of fluoride, more research, more data is needed in order to determine whether even those very high levels of fluoride have a direct impact on IQ levels.
Okay, and to that point, the American Dental Association says that cavities are the most chronic childhood disease. You've got 3 kids at home. I've got 3 kids at home. We are constantly fighting against cavities. What do parents need to know?
The addition of fluoride to drinking water has long been considered one of the greatest public health achievements of the past century. And banning the addition of fluoride to drinking water may impact individuals from low-income families who may not have access to high-quality dental care. And I just want to be clear that to date, there has been no research, no study that has concretely shown that fluoride, especially at the very low levels of fluoride we see here in the United States, have any direct impact on IQ levels or cognitive development.
So even though those concerns are out there, they have not been proven in any means.
Correct.
Okay. Dr. Widmer, thank you so much for being here with us.
All right, we turn to March Madness now as the men's Elite 8 gets going and the women, they battle it out in the Sweet 16. ABC's Ika Joshi, he's been tracking it all. Sacrificing himself at those late nights to get us all caught up, right?
It's a tough assignment, but you know what? I'm the man to do it for you guys.
Yes,
I got
you.
And you know what? I got to tell you, this tournament, it's been a chalk kind of tournament this time around. The men's 1 seeds are doing their thing, both advancing to the Final Four, but it was #1 Florida who was on the brink of elimination until a vintage performance from Walter Clayton Jr. helped the Gators keep on dancing.
Overnight, a thrilling fight to the Final Four.
Intercepted! The Gators are going to the Final Four!
The Florida Gators with an epic comeback, rallying with less than 4 minutes left in the game. Thomas Haug hitting back-to-back three-point shots before passing the baton to Walter Clayton Jr., hitting 2 more three-pointers of his own.
The Gators have recaptured the lead!
Beating Texas Tech 84-79, heading to their first Final Four since 2014. #1 Duke battling 2-seed Alabama.
Cooper flag opens up the scoring with a triple.
Duke beating Alabama 85-65. They now head to the Final Four. On the women's side, a Cinderella story unfolding. #2 TCU taking down 3-seed Notre Dame 71-62.
Got it! And chef's kiss!
TCU's Haley Van Lith setting the school's single-season scoring record. Her dad proudly celebrating in the stands.
Look at Corey, that's Dad! He's loving it!
And top-seeded USC sneaking out a tight 67-61 win over #5 Kansas State.
USC is still alive, headed back to the Elite 8.
Their first game without superstar Juju Watkins, who tore her ACL earlier this week. The win sets up a rematch with UConn.
Beckers gets it back, will pop, and hit.
UConn star Paige Beckers putting up a career high of 40 points in their game last night, dominating Oklahoma 82-59.
The tournament action continues all day today right here on ABC. The women will continue their games, starting with #2 Duke taking on #1 seed South Carolina. And guys, that's followed by UCLA taking on LSU.
Go ahead, pronounce it.
Tournament. It's tournament.
Midwest says tournament, but East
Jersey tournament.
Our regional language battles.
Perfect Elite 8 bracket, perfect Sweet 16 bracket.
Hanging in there, yeah. Women's bracket's looking good.
Let's go.
2 words, #1.
Thank you, Mike. All right, coming up here on Good Morning America, two 16-year-olds reunited with the Good Samaritans who saved their lives, rescuing them after nearly 16 hours lost at sea.
Plus, a warning this morning from the U.S. Embassy in Syria urging all Americans to leave the country over an increased possibility of attacks.
And the grandma stand, why total strangers are lining up for a chance to get some advice from grandma. We'll be right back. More GMA after this.
Absolutely fabulous. Unbelievable.
Goldschmidt lofts it to left center field and deep. Bellinger lofts one deep to right center. That one's driven deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. Back.
We got some fans in the house. Happy to see that. Welcome back to GMA on this Sunday morning. The New York Yankees were unstoppable in their opening home game against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Yanks hitting 3 straight home runs off the first 3 pitches, and that was just the beginning. New York crushed it with a team record 9 homers, 3 of them from Aaron Judge. In the end, the Yankees beat the Brewers 20-9. You like that, Janae, on Sports Zone?
That's Sports Janae. Sports Janae, I'm telling you, she's ready for ESPN.
That looked like some fun stuff. Go Yankees.
Let's take a look at some of the other big stories we're following here on this Sunday morning. Happening right now, the U.S. Embassy in Syria issuing a warning to Americans, urging them to leave the country. The embassy citing an increased possibility of attacks during the Muslim holiday of Eid, which begins tonight and marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Possible targets include embassies and public institutions in Damascus.
Also right now, the White House Correspondents Association announcing that its annual dinner will not feature comedian Amber Ruffin, almost 2 months after it announced her as the MC. And in a big break with tradition, this year's dinner won't have any comedic performances at all. The association's board saying it is planning a re-envisioning of its dinner, which is scheduled for next month.
And a lucky Powerball player in California is waking up a multi-millionaire this morning. Lottery officials say one ticket worth $527 million was sold at a 7-Eleven in Anaheim. So wake up, check your tickets. The odds of winning that grand prize, 1 in 292,201,338.
I just blacked out when you said that.
I know, there were just so many numbers.
Don't tell me the odds.
Number, but
somebody won, though.
And
Yeah.
somebody in Anaheim, maybe someone from Disneyland.
Yeah, maybe. Pretty cool. All right, we do start this half hour, though, with new details on those 2 teenage girls paddleboarding off the Florida coast who ended up stranded at sea for 16 hours. They're now reuniting with the fishermen who found them. And ABC's Morgan Norwood is here. Morgan, they really kept their cool during this whole ordeal. Good morning.
I mean, Whit is just incredible. Let me paint this picture for you. 16 hours, frigid waters, and clinging to an inflatable paddleboard in the dark of night just to stay afloat. 16-year-olds Avery Bryan and Eva Aponte helplessly watched as helicopters flew over, but little did they know help was on the way. And this morning, the emotional reunion with the 2 fishermen who pulled them to safety.
This morning, a joyful reunion. 16-year-olds Avery Bryan and Eva Aponte thanking the men who rescued them after they were stranded at sea off the coast of Cedar Key, Florida.
Thank you so much for everything you guys did and everything you guys paid for to keep us safe.